That's okay. If we don't have a lot of people, we can just talk and or we can make a short one.
I'm going to make a recording. We have Madeline, Carrie. We only have one participant today. Okay, let's wait. Maybe we're going to have more after we start. Or do you have anything you would like to present? So I'm actually making the recording. Anyway, people on Monday can watch this. We're going to upload this
E-
into the Facebook,
e-
YouTube.
Even now, people still want to continue.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Hello. How do I say? Mandolin. You want to turn on your video or camera or voice so we can only see of us. We can talk. Can you hear me?
Hello. Actually, yesterday when we had the presentation, we when we had the presentation, by the end of the presentation, I make an announcement of today's training on NOPF. So it's okay.
Okay. I want to show you a video. Can you see?
Yes. Is it a drone? Yes. Spraying the chemicals, right? It's a drone.
I don't know what it is. It's I just saw the video. Okay, this was my cousin, and he posted his video a couple of minutes ago. I just saw it. I thought, oh, that's nice because we are talking about a lot of modern technology, and I didn't realize already this is already happening in my hometown. So this is actually see my home village. This is all the back. This is all the rice. Everything is from my hometown. And he actually used this for every day, and I didn't know it. And I thought this is still use hand spray. Actually, they already don't use this anymore. Everything is computerized, AI control. So it is a modern technology. It's coming so fast. They just didn't know it. And you see, actually see the what are we talking about? AI technology, it is AI and the precision. See, okay, you see this picture. Actually, he's controlling. We are exactly going to spray from the map, and it's how many meters. Even don't miss anything, and you only spray where needed. And I think it's this on the horizontal lines is the plot he's doing, and the vertical ones he's not. So exactly doing the very precision agriculture. And I saw a news in next maybe 5 years, AI or robotic machine will be used everywhere. So we are waiting. We are into the new area, everything is we never thought about. So for the fertilizer, for any pesticides application, will be much easier to control, to apply, and you will save so much labor. Also, you see the thing when you're working actually in the field, you don't need to leave any space for your people walking in. Everything is about the air. I don't see much weeds here. Some of this left corner have weeds, not too much. So, and you see my building is my hometown building style. The farmers, they are living all nice buildings, the home, all the farmers' house. So this is I want to share. This is a very nice, and we future. I think we will do this thing. Now I need to go back to. Okay. Oh, having more people coming. That's nice. Okay, now let me back to the science. No. I need to open the file first. Okay, you see the slide PPT? This is the last time some people ask for the sugar cane. How do we do the fertilizer on sugar cane? Can you see?
Yes, we can see the sugarcane growth stages.
Yeah, okay. Basically, it's almost all the crops. When we pay attention to when we do the fertilizer, we always the first thing that we analyze the life cycle of the crop. And we discussed this before. When I grow sugarcane in my garden, it was very short. It's from March to October something. So, but it seems like a lot in the tropical area, the sugarcane they grow very long. It's over more than a year, some places a year and a half. So first thing, what we needed to do is to find which time, all the fertilizer, timing is very important. And I and OPF, we provide all the functions, but one of the primary functions is nitrogen. The nitrogen is give a lot of nutrients to help growth, get you all the green color. They basically work on your leaf, stems, help the photosynthesis, and help build a lot of nutrients stored in the plants, where I can transfer or move or change to yields. What yields, which means either fruits or seeds or parts of leaves. Here, the sugarcane is a stem. So we eventually move all the nutrients from the leaves to the stem, become sugarcane. We have a lot of sugars in it. So we should move all this stuff, change it to the sugar later season. So we need to figure out where the vegetative stage, where is the reproductive stage. For the sugarcane, we are not harvesting seeds. So we are not looking for the reproductive stage. We're looking for the vegetative stage and some transformation stage. One easy thing can tell is his height. On the right two right pictures, they are same height. When sugarcane can grow 2 meters high, when you walk into the field, you can't find you anymore. I went to the, actually I worked in the Louisiana Agriculture University for a year, and we visited a lot of sugarcane farm and soybean farms. Over there have a lot of sugarcane, a lot of pecan trees too, a lot of tropical, subtropical is very nice. Like Africa, you can grow everything year round, all the time. You don't have winter. And we are in New York, we have winter. We start from November and then we have nothing until May. November, December, January, February, March, 5-6 months have nothing. So only we have half year growing season. And in Louisiana, and I work at the State University, the Baton Rouge, Louisiana State University. And they have year-round soybeans and sugar canes. Also have alligators, a lot of wild animals. If you're close to the water, you have the risk huge snakes. That's what I don't like. So this sugar cane can grow very tall, and you can make a statement that when you see the sugar cane on the grows all the way up until they are not growing taller anymore, this is a time cap. You start consider maybe 1 or 2 fertilizer you can do. Not too many anymore. When the top and they are not going taller anymore, they will ready to stabilize, cumulative the nutrients, and in halfway, they will start transferring nutrients from leaves to stem, make sugar a lot in the stem. So we do fertilize all the way monthly, but if maybe not monthly, maybe a little bit longer, because you depends on your life cycle. If your growing season too long, if you monthly you will spread 12 times and not two, that's too many. But totally you don't need more than 5-6 times. So in the earlier stage, you don't need to spray the tiny ones. Sugarcane, the seedlings, depends on where you germinated from. If you germinate from the new seeds, the sugarcane seeds is not a seed. It's from stem. This is the sugarcane. We have long 2-meter sugarcane. We cut it into segments. So each segment, and it maybe depends on how long. At least you have several segments, knots. You have the buds coming from. So the stem is the seeds, or you're coming from the last year's roots. If you are continuing growing multi-year field, you don't put a new seeds in it, they will have the roots in the soil. You just trim off and they come back. But all I did, because I grew up in the not tropical, so our seeds is a 2 meters sugarcane. We cut it into like 20 to 30 meters length of the stem, and you cut it, you put it in the soil. I tried to grow in New Jersey, didn't work. And the seed, because the sugarcane I bought from a store, they dry out, the buds died. So that time you put in the field, they germinate. They have a lot of nutrients in the stem. So you don't need to give them nutrients. Like a sweet potato. If you plant from seedlings from sweet potato, the huge potato, and they have a lot of nutrients. But if you start from cuttings, that is different. Also, the potato, sweet potato is the roots. The potato is a tube, is a stem. The potato, you also have a lot of nutrients. So that's this when they came from the parent. They give you a lot of nutrients in the storage anyway. So in the first couple of weeks, you don't need the germination time. You don't need to give them fertilizer until actually these leaves come out. You can see the visible enough leaves. That time they don't have. They already suck up all the nutrients from the roots or the seeds, and they need to start their own photosynthesis, start with their own life. That time you give them nutrients, give them fertilizer. One of the important things I have been talking about all NOPF. All the time every time we talk about NOPF. NOPF is a foliar application. We are considered it's a top dressing. It's a supplement for your soil and all the nutrients in the soil before you plant. Assume you have enough nutrients or you have enough fertilizer or organic material in your soil before you plant. If you didn't put enough large nutrients like NPK or organic material in the soil before the planting, and your soil is not good, then you don't expect a high yield. So we are talking about NOPF. We are talking about a foliar application all the time. But under condition, your soil, you check your soil every crop, every growing season. Even in the middle of the season, sometimes you need to look at it too. Make sure your soil is rich. Soil organic material is very good. Soil structure is not perfect, but it's good enough. You have enough air, enough organic material, enough microorganisms in the soil. If we don't have, you need to add conventional NPK and or organic material like compost, green manure, all this in the soil. So this is a precondition before the growing season you have to have. And also you need to check your pH. Every crop, the pH are different, requirement different. Some like blueberry. We're talking about blueberry all the time. Greenwood is famous, is a water authority on the blueberry products. But blueberry require acidic soil. You don't think, oh, blueberry looks like it's so nice, plants so bushy, it's very beautiful. They may need a lot of fertile soil. And not really. They need a pH very low, around 4.5. So it's very lower than the normal crop. It's not a normal crop. It's acidic plants. They like a little bit of sandy soil. They don't like very high pH. If you give them high pH, the yield may be not good enough. So each crop, you need to think about, okay, what's my pH requirement? Most agriculture, corn, wheat, rice, all is average pH requirement. It's a normal pH requirement. A lot of trees, like abawadi, like spruce, a lot of trees, they like acidic soil. Blueberry is a tree too. It's not a herbal plants. So it's two woody, multi-year plants. So you need to check your soil pH all the time, every field, especially the new field. It's very hard to change soil pH. That's why you try to know your field. If you know your field, then you think, okay, my soil is sandy loam or sandy or clay. So you need to understand your soil type first. Maybe someday we talk about just soil next time or another time. We need to understand all your soil type. Then you think, okay, what is the best crop I can plant on this soil? Instead, you try to plant a crop first, then you find your soil is not a good fit. Then you change your soil. Change soil pH is not easy. For lower pH soil, bring them up to 6.5, 6 to 7. You can add limestone. You can add organic material to improve your soil. For the pH more than 8, it'll be harder, but it still have the means to help. But when you change soil pH or change soil organic material, you change 1%. If we improve 1% of your nitrogen content in the soil, you need a lot of tons of fertilizer to put in. It's not easy to do. So the best way is understand your soil, then find your best fit of the crop. You plant that, then you will get minimum activities, minimum effort to gain the optimum or maximize your profit, your yield based on your condition. If you already decided to plant sugarcane on your field, on your farm, and your soil is not rich enough, your NPK or organic material in the soil is poor, then you have to add conventional NPK in the soil or add organic material and compost or green manure, anything, to the soil. Make your soil rich enough for long-lasting. So it's good enough for the entire growing season nutrients. Sometimes the basal fertilizer is not enough. You have to add 3 or 4 times before you harvest in the soil. So you need to monitor of your soil. For soil, a lot of time your soil actually have enough nutrients, but it's just not available for plants to take. Like air, we have 70% air are nitrogen. We have so much nitrogen in the air. So you don't need a plant, give nitrogen for the plants, because plants need the nitrogen. Well, in the air, we have 70% of the air are nitrogen. Now, these nitrogen are not available for plants. So you have to help these nutrients, make them available for plants. For the air, for the nitrogen in the air or the soil, one of the old traditional way is plant soybeans. The soybeans, the roots have symbiotic bacteria. They can fix nitrogen from the air, from the soil. They fix this nitrogen, store in the roots. If you pull out the soybean, you look at the roots, you have a lot of beads-like structure on the roots. In the middle, they are nitrogens with the bacteria. So this is you don't burn them out. You should be leave them in the field. When soil is poor, you have 1 year you plant one crop, next year you plant soybean, next year you plant another crop. Rotation is one of the major practice to enrich, to keep, to maintain your soil sustainable agriculture. So if we are not labeled as organic farm, for the basal fertilizer, you can put NPK in the soil. Then when the seedlings, when the sugarcane leaves come out, then you start apply NOPF is called top dressing. So it's on the top. It's not in the soil. We don't want to put it in the soil because of the efficiency, the economic wise. We want to spray on the leaf. We spray on the back of the leaf. The sugarcane leaf is like this way. It's not horizontal. So you can easily just turn it around. You don't need to take your nozzle up. Like my cousin, when he did it this morning, spray, I don't know what he was spraying. He sprayed the Jones only spray on the top. That is one of the problem. You spray from top of the air, you cannot spray to the back of the leaf. The thing he was spraying is on the top of the rice paddy. Rice is same family of the sugarcane, same family of the plants. I don't don't remember the Latin name, but I know the Chinese name, 禾本科. So they are same family. Corn, sugarcane, these are all same. All the leaves are ups. So he spray on the top. They still okay. The rice also have one of the issues. Rice leaves have some wax, something hard things on the top of the leaf. It's hard to hold the jobs. So this is also another one of the consideration when you spray. If your hand, you can adjust your nozzle. When the soybeans, the back of the leaf is kind of soft, have a lot of air. A lot of leaves, plant leaves, they are kind of fuzzy on the leaf. Either top or back have some little hair inside. So when you spray, the water droplets, they can stick on it. They don't last. But for the rice, a sugarcane, first, the leaf is vertical. It's not a horizontal. It's not easy to hold. Second, their leaf surface is like oilish, like waxy. So it's very easy to running away. How do you solve the problem? You don't want to waste all your money when you spray. Change the drop size. When the drop size is smaller, like in the morning we have foggy, the air, a lot of moisture actually in the air, they don't drop. But the raining, they drop. They don't stay in the air. Raining because the rain drop is too big, so they cannot hold in the air. But the fog, the moisture droplets is tiny, tiny, tiny. They stay in the air, take a long time to drop. So you can change your drop size smaller and make sure they don't running away. So this is a way to make your spray stick on the leaf. Or you can add some of the stick agent. Some people asked it before, can I add some stick agent? Yes. What a stick agent is basically a detergent. When you detergent, you add a little bit of detergent in your pesticides or your fertilizer, then you can kind of spray when you put on the leaf, they solve the melt or dissolve leaf surface, the wax or oil feature of the leaf surface. Then they kind of like melt down the water pressure. They feel the drop within the circle, kind of flat, and it will stay on the leaf. So this is when we change that, you can make that you don't have the fertilizer running away. When you do this, also another consideration, like keep in mind that when you change the drop size, when you spray herbicides, you don't want to change them too small. Why? Herbicides can kill any plants if same family or same leaf shape or broad leaf. If you want to spray on the rice, you try to control the broad leaf weeds. Your neighbor have soybeans. When you change your drop size too small, and you spray on your rice, they actually wind to make your drift from your rice field to a soybean field. You kill the weeds in the rice field, you kill your neighbor's soybean crop. So to prevent the drift, you need to increase the drop size, the other way around. So when the drop size increase, the wind will, because it's too heavy, they don't stay in the air. And when the wind comes in, they don't blow your fork or your spray to your neighbor field. So that's one of the way to make sure you don't get your neighbor get mad. So this sugarcane, when we started tilling, and you can spray monthly until the plants to the top high. But one of the calculator, what time you stop, it's like 34 months before you actually cut your sugarcane. Why cannot continue spray the fertilizer until the end? Yeah, this nitrogen, a lot of fertilizer are only good for the vegetative, for early or middle stage of the growing season, not for the late season. Why? Because the late season, if you apply a lot of nitrogen, the plants, they will change your quality of your sugar compound, the transformation. For the fruits, apples, oranges, anything this, you don't spray too much fertilizer, any fertilizer, not only NOPF, in the late season, because in the late season, there are plants, the work is move the nutrients from other parts of the plant body, from leaves, from stem, to your target place. Here is the stem. For the fruits or seeds, they move the nutrients from the leaf to the rice seeds, from the leaf to the orange or apple fruits. So later season, you need to give the plant signal. I don't want you grow leaves anymore. I want you move your nutrients to your target place. Sometimes you over-fertilize, they will postpone your fruit or flowering, your blooming. My neighbor all blooming, why mine is not? Because your canopy, your foliage is too good. Plants think, oh, not yet. We wait a second. We're still doing the vegetative growth. So that's why we keep emphasizing. We need to understand the soil. We need to understand the plants. The plant's physiology, plant's life cycle. What are your targets? This is everything you have to be understand very well. Then you know what time you started, what time you stop, how frequency. Can I over-fertilize? You will over-fertilize, sometimes you got trouble. You only harvest the leaves. We have, I think I had said it, told you before, my neighbor county was the most east county on the Pacific Ocean. My county is like 30, 50 kilometers away from the ocean. And my county, the cotton plants always looks better than my neighbor county. But the yield, they always better than us. So it's not how many leaves you produce. It's actually how much cotton flower you get. You've got overshading, too much leaves, you don't get it. You have fruits and flowers and fruits. So over-fertilize happen a lot. You waste your money, you lost your crop. So fertilizer for the sugarcane, you can start when you see enough leaves and you stop you're ready to stop when the sugarcane to the reaching point, to the highest point. So this is something detailed principles. As we say, you conduct a soil test, of course. If we don't have money and you're conventional, you're older farmer, my grandparents never test the soil. I never tested my garden soil either. How do you do it? Use your eyes. You take your soil, look at. You know if your soil is poor or not. Some people said, I can taste it. No, I don't want to taste it. You don't know the taste of the soil. It's not good. So you can see the soil if rich enough. Basically, you look at your soil particles. If your soil is white, is cement-like, which means very acidic, or the water, you can easily get a flooding when it's raining because the water not going down. The top soil is so shallow, it's only a couple of inches, not deep enough. If your soil is soft, a lot of organic material inside, when the raining comes in for several inches, they soak all the water in the soil. They keep them. The water not running away. They just going down to the soil. Some soil, good topsoil, maybe can go to a foot, like 12 inches. 12 inches is like 30 centimeters. So if you 20 centimeters soil, topsoil soft, that's a good deal. If you only have 10 centimeters, then your soil, you need to do a lot of work. You can just, if we don't have enough organic material, you at least till them, make your soil soft. When the air can get in, the microorganisms can start surviving. And when any rain, any organic material to get mix into the soil, they start to decompose this organic material. The organic material put into the soil, we have two functions. One is help the nutrients, make the nutrients available for plants. Another thing, they feed organic microorganisms in the soil. Microorganisms in the soil, this is mostly important for your fertility, soil fertility. If we don't have them, and a lot of organic material in the soil, they just stay dry organic material in it. And it's not decomposed. It's not available for plant use. So the big structure bigger molecules, still too long. The fibers, proteins, fatty, all too big. Too big, plants cannot take. Plants can only take a single small molecules like amino acids, like fructose, glucose, very small sugar, or little bit several amino acids linked together, or small other molecules. And also organic material, if you don't have microorganism, they will allow the nitrogen, potassium, or phosphate. Even applied a lot, put a lot in the soil, they are not available. They have sometimes they bind with other structure. They are not available for plant use. They said you put 10 kilo fertilizer in the soil, maybe less than 30% can be used by plants, or even less, because this is a lot of time your soil have enough micronutrients in the soil, just not available for use. Have two reasons. One is no water. If you don't have water, these nutrients, they stay there and not available, become water. If not water, they are, how do you become water soluble? If not water soluble plants, how do you suck it up? So that's why first your water. Second, you add a lot of organic material, and then you can decompose, make all the nutrients, break them down, make it available for plants to use. Second, you adjust your fertilizer based on your pH. That's why we talked about it before. Sugarcane, it's normal. It's not very acidic. It's a 5.5 to 6.5. It's normal. Sugarcane is like a common agriculture farm crop. It's not like a blueberry. You don't see blueberry everywhere, but you can plant sugarcane as long as your temperature enough, warm enough. You can plant sugarcane in the tropical. You can plant it in the even New Jersey. We can put in New York. We still can plant. Just not a long time enough, so we're not sweet enough. You don't have enough time to transfer all your nutrients to the stem become sugar. So that's why the sugar will be much shorter and much smaller. I never see any people plant sugarcane in New York area, but 30 something North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana have a lot. So the southern parts of the US, we have a lot. Okay, the basic application is that we discussed. They mix phosphate, potassium fertilizer into soil at planting. Nitrogen, you don't want to put a lot of nitrogen as a base. Why? Nitrogen is water soluble. You only put enough necessary into the soil. The plants can use in the short time, in the next several weeks. You don't put lifetime, a whole growing season nitrogen in the soil, because first you add a lot of chemicals into the soil, and your soil become more cement-like. You don't want to add a lot of fertilizer in it. Second, the water soluble. Nitrogen is water soluble. When you put it in the soil, then when raining comes in, they wash it away. You think I put enough nitrogen at the beginning of the planting, I don't need to add any fertilizer anymore. Now you put in the soil in the beginning, and your sugarcane grow in 2 years. You lost all your nitrogen in the first month, or in the first raining, or wash them away. Either go to deeper into the soil, or wash it running into the water or to the river. So you lost all your nitrogen. That's why you don't put a lot of nitrogen in the soil. That's why we need to add top dressing of the foliar application of fertilizer, because the soil cannot keep too long available water-soluble nitrogen in the soil. And we supplement foliar application of the NOPF, give them enough in the later season, give them bi-weekly or monthly, or if too long, we might be every 2 months. You don't put too much in it. With too much, you need to watch your sugarcane leaf color. Leaf color if become already dark green. Sometimes you think, oh, did I over fertilize? You may. You don't want to over fertilize them anyway. You only give fertilizer they need. But if we don't give fertilizer at all, you may lose crop of 40 to 60% yield. We cannot do farming without fertilizer anymore. We have to give fertilizer. If we don't give, like do gardening, you only do like a little tiny spot of your gardening. You don't care the yield. You are not selling your fruits and vegetables. You just for fun, like me, doing in my backyard garden. I don't care. If I pick this morning, I picked like 20 cherry tomatoes, like 4 or 5 big tomatoes, and pick some squash. Even that, I overproduce. I cannot eat them anywhere, so I don't care. I don't care yield. If we get too much, I waste it. I'll rot it. I give it throw away to the animals. So you don't care. But if you're farmer, you're selling your farm products. If we don't use fertilizer, your yield will lose 40 to 60%. So we cannot take any risk without using fertilizer. This is a thing we are saying. We want sustainable agriculture. We want organic agriculture. We don't want chemical fertilizer, but we have been using chemical fertilizer for several decades. We are not ready to use only organic fertilizer right now. We take a long time. We need to keep your conventional fertilizer running, and also continue increase, do your best to increase your organic fertilizer, like NOPF is organic fertilizer. We need to start reduce use of chemical fertilizer. We start adding more organic fertilizer. This way, we kind of eventually we give chemical fertilizer going a little bit down, and organic fertilizer going a little bit up, and someday we back to the more organic fertilizer, back to the sustainable agriculture. But it takes time. You prepare next 20 to 30 years, not the next 5 years. So if you are not labeled as organic farmer, if you are not selling, you have to be organic products. If you are normal, general, common agriculture farm, you use both. Use NPK in the soil, use top dressing of NOPF on the foliar application. But we don't put a lot of nitrogen in the soil, but we do put enough phosphate and potassium in the soil. Why? Because P and K, a lot of situations, they are not water soluble. They take several months to become available for plants to use. Since they are not water soluble, you don't care if the raining come in. If the big raining come in, the P and K is still in the soil because they cannot wash it away. So they only waiting for the microorganisms, waiting for the soil organic structure to transfer this non-water soluble P and K, become water soluble, become maybe some part of the organic structure, become part of the, like ATP, the energy thing. The ATP is a lot of P, and be available for plants to use. So this P and K we put in the early season, put in the soil, you can use the whole, can provide enough for the whole growing season from beginning to the end. Especially in the late season, we need a P and K or some other trace elements for the fruiting, for the flowering, fruiting, for the enlarged development of the fruits. We need P, K, B, Me, or Mn, Mg, a lot of stuff. All this P and K from the base soil and other trace elements, because we are applying top dressing of NOPF, we have trace elements in the NOPF. We bi-weekly or monthly apply foliar application of the NOPF. We not only provide the amino acids, but also we provide all the trace elements plants can use. Plants don't need a lot of trace elements, but they do need some. The amount we have in the NOPF is just enough for them to complete all the enzymatic, molecular biology or biochemistry reactions, make you all the in chemical structure converging or metabolism be working perfectly, because you have all these trace elements as needed, required by the enzymes. An initial light flooding down when the can is just coming up. Okay, this is the same thing what we talk about. This is on, you see the pamphlets, the 3-4 or 4-4 of the pamphlets. Sometimes we don't put, every time put 20 ml in 20 liters. Sometimes they put 5 ml or 10 ml in the initial stage, early stage. We don't need a lot of heavy fertilizer. So basically in the early, this is the first time, maybe you don't need to put 20 ml in 20 liters. It may be time to put 10 ml or 5 ml in 20 liters. We know, we have been talking about this all the time. We don't have issue of the concentration requirement. The less fertilizer will be the better. The more sometimes is waste. So more frequency, less fertilizer, a lot of water is the best approach to apply any fertilizer. It's not a drug, it's a fertilizer. We provide nutrients. So low concentration is better than high concentration. But if you only spray once, then you need to think about, do I get enough? If you spray every other week, you don't have the issue, don't you get enough? Because you today give them, a week 10 days later give them again. They kind of just the perfect amount plants can use, because you a little bit lower concentration. A lot of time, water is more important than the fertilizer, because as we said, we have a lot of nutrients in the soil. We have a lot of nutrients in somewhere. They are not available. Why? Too dry. If you just give them water, some poor people, they never have money to buy fertilizer. You just water them. You still get some fruit, some yield, but it's a low yield. Maybe only half of your yield, but water is number one. Increase the high high in nutrients, in nitrogen application. Yeah, that's what we just said. In the earlier, we put 5 ml to 20 liters. Then later, we can, a month later, 2 months later, we can get 20 ml per 20 liters. So feed OPF plants every month thereafter. Oh, that's we just talked about it. Every month depends on your growing season. If your growing season is short, only a year or less than a year, it may be due monthly because you still need 3 or 4 months before you're harvesting. You don't apply nitrogen, amino acids, NOPF in the late season because you confuse the plants. You provide too much nitrogen, they will have negative impact on their transformation of the nutrients to sugar. It's important to keep plants well watered. yeah, that's it. We keep water them all the time. So this is a sugar cane. I did some studying and I did have some experience when I did. So this is the kind of basically we have sugar cane. How often depends on your growing season. But one thing you need to keep in mind, we need to stop the sugar cane. You can be over fertilizer. So you don't try to avoid over nitrogen. If you see very dark green, you kind of stop. When you see the plants is already to the top of the size, you're ready to stop, maybe halfway. So most of the time is when they from the seedlings to the thing here. So this is the time to do your fertilizer. Almost every crop, you put your fertilizer at the vegetative growth. Even the sugarcane is always, even here it's also vegetative growth. You don't see the seeds, but the same thing principle is applied. So any questions?
Do we have any questions? We still have 2 minutes to go. So you can raise your hand and unmute yourself and ask
Or you
your
leave a
questions.
message in the
Chat
in the
box.
message. Yeah.
Okay, we have Madam Claus. So please go ahead and mute yourself.
Hi, Professor Zhang. Thank you so much. And sure, these training sessions are amazing, teaching me so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say, so basically, every single crop, you only apply NOPF in the vegetative stage. Is that correct?
Well, or in the peak, you should stop at the peak flowering, or if the fruits kind of like halfway develop, the fruits starting to increase, and you maybe halfway. Okay, if the total size this size, if you get a half size, it kind of time to stop.
Okay, thank you. And then what if you have a green foliage plant like a cabbage or a spinach? Would you apply NOPF throughout? How soon before you harvest do you actually stop applying?
Yeah, you're so smart. This is
Thank
like
you.
the sugarcane is the same thing. Sugarcane in the end we have we should stop 3-4 months. For the cabbage, some plants is okay. For like a cabbage is have issue. You have to kind of like if you see the head coming and forming, it's time to stop. If you apply too much in the middle of when the head develop, the cabbage, the ball develop. If you have too much in the end, the head will be open, block.
Okay, yes, understand.
So yeah, and so for spinach, is also when you think it reach the size of again, this is the size of going to harvest. It's time to stop.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, if you reach the size like the sugarcane, you reach the height, but you still have a long time to grow into leaf with massacre much better. It takes several weeks to gather. So you need to stop way before that.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer.
Anytime.
Does it mean if no organic material, I think we can answer these questions in the next section. Does it mean if no organic material in the soil, then I can use the inorganic fertilizers for dressing?
Yes. You can use, if you don't have organic fertilizer, you can inorganic or conventional fertilizer. But be careful, conventional fertilizer have a lot of issues. Not only we have leaf burning issue if you spray on top. If inorganic, you try to apply in the soil. Don't try to put it on the leaf because it's hard to control the concentration. If you high concentration, you can burn your leaves. If you low concentration, then put in soil will be better for the inorganic material, inorganic fertilizer. Yeah, next time we can talk about that too.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. We have learned a lot, and thank you for being with us. Now you can unmute yourself and say thank you and good day to Professor. We are going to see you after 2 weeks, the same Friday, the same Saturday after 2 weeks. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you.
Thank
you so much
Thank
for
you.
organizing all this. Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
谢谢张教授。Thank you，谢谢张教授。Thank you，see you。
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye。